Hola, amigas. Welcome back to another episode of Modern Latina Midlife. I am Sonia Flores, holistic life and business coach, and your host. Today, I have as a guest Anne van Leynseele, and she is a 5-time career reinventor, 3-time author, and creator of the Preferment framework, a research backed alternative to traditional retirement for accomplished women. A former Hollywood producer, Fortune 100 consultant, and Obama administration attorney advisor, and speaks on reinvention, purpose, and redesigning a post career life that matters. I hope that you enjoy this episode. In fact, I know you will enjoy this podcast episode. What Anne brings to the table is a different way of looking at the third chapter in a woman's life or anybody's life, but we're talking to women here today, or mostly, I should say. And I know that I always talk about how we have all this life ahead of us and how we don't have to conform to the roles that we have been given by society or by culture or by family or all the things, which is usually to take a back seat still and watch the grandkids and retire and keep your voice down. It is about truly enjoying the rest of our life. And she gives us really a fun framework and how to discover what that could look like for creating beautiful adventures, memories, learning, and creating longevity in our life through the process of continuing to learn, continuing to stay mobile physically, and doing things that we love. It doesn't have to be work related or business related. It can be any other thing. You have to listen to this podcast episode. You're going to enjoy it. Welcome to the podcast, Anne. I'm so excited to have you here and talk about this fun conversation.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit about what I do.
I love it. What you're doing is super interesting to me and is exactly, I feel, aligned with what I've been talking about to my audience. So they're not going to be surprised at all. And I think this just adds a different level and just a little bit of a different twist than how I have thought about this chapter in a woman's life.
Yeah.
So super excited to have you and talk
Thank
about this.
you.
So let's just get right into it. You've trademarked the term preferment as an
Yes.
alternative to retirement. So
Yes.
before we get into what that is and the framework and all the good stuff, what was the pivotal point that led you to create this?
Two things. I actually worked at the Social Security Administration under President Obama as an attorney advisor. And daily, I was hit in the face by how inappropriate and antiquated retirement is for modern society and how we live today. It was created 90 years ago, and it's no surprise that we've come a long way as a society and we're living longer. So we need a brand new idea, not just to accept the old school.
I love that. So then what is preferment? What is this? It's an interesting term.
It is. It's actually a 15th century word that means to ascend to a higher position or a promotion.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's a part of it. Was funny. I created the framework first, and then I found this word through a sociological book. And my mom is a sociologist who specialized in healthy aging and dementia and was part of a research team that did some really front of the curve, cutting edge research in both these areas starting in 2000. So
Mhm.
I those things all play into it, but like everyone, we are accumulation of our experiences, and I just put them all together and mash them up into this idea that when we leave our job, actually, I think before we leave our job, we should start preparing not just financially for retirement, but also conceptually. What do we want to achieve or accomplish or contribute, or all three? after we leave our career. So that
That's
is what
yeah,
Preferment does. Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing because I have an uncle who is 82 years old and just retired from his job of 50 years because and I'd be like, "Why haven't you retired?" I asked him this 2 years ago. He said, "What am I gonna do at home?" So, this feels like it's completely aligned with that. So what kind of things do people do? What is it does that planning look like for somebody like my uncle
Mhm.
or I have friends who are waiting to retire in the next couple of years because they wanna watch their grandkids, and that's cool, but now there those that are like, "I'm getting bored. I love the grandkids, but what else now?"
There's a huge dilemma. First of all, 11,000 people a day in the United States turn 65.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
wow.
actually more than 11,000, but that's a nice round number.
Wow.
And 67% of people that are retired report depression symptoms.
Mhm.
So I set out to solve that.
Mhm.
And I got a little cutesy and a little clever. So this is Preferment, and this is the
Mhm.
back cover of me on my farm. But this is designed like an elementary school workbook. There are little short chapters that teach a lesson and tell a little story and cue up a very short exercise that gets the person working in the workbook to focus on one aspect that will benefit them in a larger plan of their lifestyle choices and their new identity once they retire. So it's kind of a fun, easy way to put all of the pieces of your puzzle because everyone's preferment will be unique to them.
Mhm. Wow, that's really cool. So it is I'm guessing this is an exercise in exploring, like, all their skills and their likes and their gifts and their hobbies and all the areas of their life basically for the last whatever it is, 60, 65 years.
It's partly that, but it's also exploring things that they haven't ever tried or and reaching out and doing some research and talking to people that they don't know, strangers in a coffee shop. What's your favorite thing to do? Or what's your hobby? Or finding out things. There's a wonderful story about someone I worked with that was going through some mementos, some boxes of things that she had saved from her childhood, and she, like me, went to summer camp. And one of her camp counselors was studying geology. And she remembered being a camper and being curious about geology, but then she went back to school and never thought again about it. But going through those fond memories sparked that, oh, geology, let's go check that out now. Let's do some research. She started doing rock hounding with a local group. She took a little class, an extensions class for adults for not for credit, but for fun. And it just progressed and progressed. Now she and her husband take trips together to go to places where there are unique rock formations or you can collect things. And that expansion of a small idea is really what I walk everybody through. I also have a little bit of just the practical side of that, getting rid of baggage, letting go of what's expected of you or behaving in a certain way. If I may tell another little story about someone,
Absolutely. Please do.
there's a Dell executive. She's a woman that worked at Dell in like a high to mid-end executive position. And she, after 3 months, was just in tears with a mutual friend of ours. And this friend said, "You need to talk to Anne." So we started working together before the book was even published. And I got her to a place based on, we'd worked for 4 sessions, one-on-one counseling or advising, as I call it. And she came in one time and I was beginning to worry because she just kept giving me the predictable answer, the expected answer. And she came in one day and I said, "What did you do this weekend?" And she said, "Oh, I went on a hike with my friends in the national forest." And she was so excited. I said, "What about forest as your theme for everything around your retirement. She came back the next session, 2.5 pages of ideas from being on a board of a conservation organization to hands-on helping rehabilitate trails to a wonderful group in her community that gathers their art supplies and goes to parks and paints landscapes.
Mhm.
And it was what she needed to kind of bring together all of these different ideas, and
That is
that's exciting for me.
that is so fun. This sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a workbook I wanna get my hands on. So
Good.
Preferment is this lovely book you just showed me? It's the workbook? It's okay.
It's chapters and stories and a workbook and a
Mm,
little bit of research and some ideas that people need to warm up to.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
So you work with high achievers, people whose identity is often tied to their careers, right? And
Yes.
I can attest to this because I often wonder, am I ever going to stop working? Because I love what I do,
Yes.
and I always have all these ideas that seem work related. What happens psychologically when that structure disappears overnight? And how does someone start building a preferment plan before they hit that wall?
I love that opportunity. I actually have 4 young people. It's sisters and their husband, and they bought preferment course and books for both of their sets of parents, the married couple that I know.
Mhm.
And the parents were, "Oh, yeah, okay, we read the book. It's very great. We tried some new things. It's wonderful." But the younger generation, they're in their mid-40s. They're already talking
Mhm.
about and planning for their preferment and
Mhm.
figuring things out. So there it's never too early to start. I started designing my preferment when I was 48,
Mhm.
and I'm now 61.
And so when you say designing that preferment, I guess help me understand what is the concept? The concept is that they're preparing for it so that when they retire, they have this ready or they start doing this stuff now.
Yeah, they need to start doing this now.
Yeah.
At the very, very base of my concept is be selfish in a good way.
Yeah.
Really, it doesn't have to be all day, every day. It doesn't have to be exclusive, but
Mhm.
you can start adding things into your life that bring you joy, bring meaning, are very satisfying, or just exploratory. Getting
Mhm.
to know parts of yourself that you put aside
Mhm.
or left behind or haven't really tapped into. I know people that have worked in corporate jobs that suddenly find baking. They
Mhm.
love to bake, or they
Mhm.
love to design clothes, or they really are passionate about helping kids figure out a problem that kids face. There's one woman I just met who advises kids getting ready to apply for college
Mhm.
in her spare time.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal when people start giving themselves permission. It's
Yeah.
inside all of us what we're passionate about. We've just buried it in all the roles and the responsibilities and the duties that we take on.
Oh yeah, for sure. I talk about this all the time of how we start to put ourselves last behind and behind the next thing and behind the next thing and behind the next role and the next responsibility until we're no longer in touch with ourselves and no longer doing anything to fill our own cups. And I find that a lot of times, especially for women, you already touched on it, there's a level of guilt that comes with that, and you said it well, you have to start being selfish. How do you help people, though, break through that? Because this guilt thing is very deep. It comes from the patriarchy, colonialism, religion, culture, all the things. How it feels really deeply ingrained. I know I have some friends that just have a really hard time breaking through that. How do you help people break through that?
It's one of the 2 key things that I have everybody practice through the time that they're working on the workbook or the course. We need to rehearse things.
Mhm.
And people always say, "Oh, you're a planner." It's like, I'm really not. I have ideas about even when I go on a trip, I'll usually book a couple of nights of hotels, but the rest I just go with the flow.
Mhm.
And I think that working through, as you said, letting go, I call it baggage. I call it you know what, this is what we did need to do to be successful. But it's now time to say, let's start turning down the volume on that at age 40, 45, 48, whatever you choose, and start to pull back on that without diminishing the quality of the work you're doing and
Mhm.
without diminishing all of your responsibilities. But if you start to bring that in, by the time you actually fall off the cliff of your
Mhm.
last day at whatever you're doing full time for work,
Mhm.
then it's not such a loss of your
Mhm.
personality,
Mhm.
your identity, and who you call yourself.
Mhm.
I now force people to introduce themselves without saying what they used to do
Yeah,
when
that's a big
we're
one.
in group settings, because I do this in corporate settings as
Yeah.
well. I've become part of a lot of HR departments' wellness plans
Yes. Ooh, I love
because
that.
productivity at
Mhm.
from the last 3 to 5 years on any job tends to fall, and
Mhm.
a lot of institutional knowledge is lost that way. So
Mhm.
I and then so the other thing that I really have people practice is adapting.
Mhm.
You I had a man who was a heavy duty recreational cyclist bicycling.
Mhm.
And as he aged and he couldn't keep up with his bike group, he
Mhm.
stopped biking. And I said, no, let's brainstorm 6 different ways that you can still participate in biking. And he
Mhm.
was very able to do that when I made him answer that question. And so I think we need to rehearse or practice these internal mental and emotional corrections. And I
Mhm.
do work with people's emotions on these things and how does that bring you up? I take people a step by step through processes, rehearsing some of those obstacles that we build for ourselves.
Yeah. I like that piece where you said that you help them kind of create that new identity before they get to that fall off point,
That cliff. Yep.
because so much of, yeah, what we do is based on what we do for work. Who we are is based
I
on what we do for work.
And I actually take the identity away from what you're doing and
Mhm.
more about what satisfies you. I
Mhm.
love steep learning curves.
Mhm.
I love taking on a challenge, feeling that nervous energy about, I
Mhm.
don't really know anything about this, but I'm going to go learn about it and I'm excited to learn.
Mhm.
I bought a house. The farm that I bought was my retirement plan. At 48, I bought a home, the first home I ever bought in my life. I was a bit of a run around the globe gal. I've lived in 14 states and 2 foreign countries, and
I'd
I've
love to
been
hear this.
a lifelong renter, and the first home that I bought was my place where I wanna retire, in a place I'd never lived and doing something, farming, I had never done. I never even had a garden or potted plants. It's all new, and in the 13 years that I've owned the farm, I've learned, and I continue to challenge myself to learn, and
Mhm.
it's constantly physically, the 3 things that we need, I call them the big 3: thinking, doing, and feeling. So, the farm does all 3.
Mhm. I love this on so many angles because I can see how this helps alleviate that depression
Oh,
that so many people are experiencing when they hit retirement, when they're supposed to be finally like enjoying life,
yes.
or so we think.
Yes.
And the thinking, the physical, the doing,
Yes.
that all helps the longevity. It
It
helps the
absolutely.
brain, the dementia, the Alzheimer's, all of that.
Yeah.
I love this. This is
Yeah.
like, this is a necessary
Yeah.
part of longevity along with what we're eating and exercising. This is, I think, preferment is amazing
Yeah.
to help with that longevity piece and longevity, but also having good quality of life, right? Being able to
Well,
do the things that we love.
and I put those together and I refer to it as quality longevity.
I love that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
because it's and I know a lot of people have different terms for that,
Mhm.
but having a healthy 20 to 30 years, not
Mhm.
just existing for 20 to 30 years.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. And I love that this is more fun related and not so much work or business related because
yeah,
that's where my brain goes. But this I love it. This opens up
yeah,
all the avenues. And thank you for sharing that you bought your first home at 48 because I've been a long life renter. I've owned homes before and
yeah.
just didn't hang on to them. And I love to move around and I love to travel and do all the other things. So it brings me a little, I don't want to say hope, but you become an expander for me. Oh, look,
I'm
somebody did do it. Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it can be done.
It can be, and I just am all about we need to start writing our own rules.
Yes.
We need to start saying, "Okay, that's what society says," but I decided at 16 I wanted to be child-free and husband-free. I borrow other people's children. I love
Mhm.
other people's kids. There are about 45 kids that I'm not related to that call me Aunt Anne because I
Wow.
have very deep and special relationships with them.
Yes.
And I just think we need to stop following the rules.
100%. I
Mm.
love that. And I love that there is a movement of, I feel, more and more women that are stepping into and owning, I don't want to be a parent. And that's okay. And
It
that
is,
is, it's more than okay. This should have been done a long time ago because it puts a
yeah,
lot of pressure on people to do things that they
yeah.
didn't really want to do.
Part of that is all women need to accept other women's choices. I am fine if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, I support that choice. If it's
100%.
what you want, not what someone else wants.
Yeah.
But I just think that we need to be more loving and kind and accepting of everyone's choice.
Of everyone, absolutely. Yeah, whether you wanna stay at home, whether you wanna have children and work,
Yeah.
whether all the
You wanna
things,
have children on your own
but you
without
wanna
a
have children
spouse or
on your
partner.
own.
Yep.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
not question that. Just
No
it
judgment.
yeah, like nothing, none of the things, how you dress, what you do, whether you wanna put fillers in your face or not, what like, all
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah,
There's so
exactly.
much judgment one way or the other.
We can turn that around.
Yeah,
And that's what's very exciting to me.
yeah.
I'm the first year of Gen X.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
I have my 2 older brothers are baby boomers. And I it's very we are very different.
yes.
And
Oh, yes, we are.
so
Yes.
I'm really excited about us taking more power and
Mhm.
empowering each other and being
Yeah.
more supportive and
Yeah.
loving about yeah.
Yeah, and I think
It's
we are.
happening.
I think
Oh,
it's
I do too.
happening.
I do.
Yes,
I do.
yes, the
That's what I
movement
meant.
has begun.
It already is flowing. I
Yeah.
love it. Just
Yeah.
the openness about
Mhm.
topics that used to be taboo.
Oh my gosh, we were just having this conversation yesterday, my cousin and I talking about menopause and all the symptoms and all the
Yeah,
things, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I have these conversations openly with my brother now, and
yeah.
this would have never happened." I was telling her I wanted to talk to my mom about what her experience was when I started coming to getting into perimenopause, and she's like, "Oh, it was uneventful." And I
Oh,
said,
no.
"No,
Let's see.
no, I don't think so."
You're
She's like,
just
"Really?"
getting mom.
Yes. She's like, "I just don't remember. Nothing happened. It was fine." And that's
Yeah,
one of the things we say in my culture, Mexican culture. It's like,
yeah,
"Nothing's happening. No pasa nada. No,
yeah,
nothing's happening.
yeah.
Everything's fine." It's like, "No, you clearly shoved it down and
No pasa
ignored your own."
nada.
Yeah.
I
No,
love
you
it.
ignored your own needs or your own body and just chalked it up as just another day, it's just another thing, so which is sad, which makes me a little bit sad that
It's something that needs to change. You're doing it. You
yeah,
are making that change.
yeah,
So
I
great.
am. We
Yes.
are.
By sharing with your brother and being
Yeah,
open and candid about life and
yeah.
what it presents in all its glory and blisters.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's nice to hear them men, my sons, my brother, listen and have empathy and say, "Wow, you guys Wow, I didn't know you guys were dealing with all of that.
So bad. No, no,
Mhm.
but yes, that's wonderful, and I'm
Mhm.
I'm so excited to hear you have sons. I'm sure they'll be
Yeah, 2
wonderful.
sons, 2
Oh,
sons.
yeah,
No
wonderful,
daughters.
empathetic young men.
Yeah, yeah, that's been my goal.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit more about this chocolate farm.
Oh.
Where did this idea come from?
It was I lived in Australia, and I, loved this community in the northeast corner of Australia. It was this small beach community that I went to a couple times next to the rainforest and the Great Barrier Reef, and I thought
Mhm,
I love the culture, I like the friendliness, I like the casual, I like the ease of living here. I really wanna live here, but it's too far away.
mhm,
So the next best place that I had been to that was close to that, I love to travel. So I've been to 23 countries
mm,
and and the big island of Hawaii. And I thought,
mhm,
this is as close as I'm going to get to that. And it's
mm,
much more convenient. I also, being a single person, was very aware of if I want people to come visit their old aunt, it needs to be someplace fun. You go-
mhm.
so
Oh,
I
yeah,
never have people say, no, I don't want to come to the
yeah,
chocolate farm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And
And
so, did you start the farm from scratch, or did you buy one? How did this happen?
No, I bought the farm with my mom and my dad, and they used it for they're practicing my retirement plan.
Oh,
And, my dad passed away, but my mom is now still over there most of the year.
yeah,
But we looked at, I don't know, 20 some properties, and this one just spoke to us.
yeah,
We didn't know exactly what
yeah,
we were gonna do, and
yeah.
there were 4 crops, and we got rid of 1, and now we grow coffee, avocados, and chocolate.
Mm,
But we're the thing we're most passionate about is the chocolate, and
mhm,
we won a global award for the chocolate that we
mhm,
grow. In
mhm.
2019 for the Pacific Rim, we won the Gold Cacao of Excellence.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and
Congratulations.
thank you, but we're planting more chocolate trees and more avocado trees,
Mhm.
and just
Yeah,
always working on the farm.
that's very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, we've already talked about this toxic cultural narrative, especially with my audience, that tells women over 50 that our time of big pivots and these big adventures and brand new identities has passed. What is the boldest, most unexpected transformation that you've seen a client pull off?
Wow, that's a great question. The most extraordinary transformation had to do with a woman who was married and really had probably deferred a lot of her life and taken care of her husband for most of their lives, and actually forced him to take the class with her.
Mm,
And they came out of it and they restructured their life. And he they took cooking classes together to teach him how to take on 50% of the cooking and shopping. And so they alternate weeks and they share some activities, but they also have their individual passions, and
mhm,
having that kind of profound change. And they were already in their late 60s.
mhm.
So,
Wow.
it's never you can teach old dogs a different way of
100%.
doing things.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah. When somebody
yeah,
says, "I'm too old for this. I'm stuck in my ways." I'm like,
yeah.
"No."
That's what causes people to be depressed and doomed and
Yeah.
die young.
Yeah.
So,
Like, yeah,
you
I'm
gotta
not buying it.
keep finding new things, but
Yeah.
yeah, it really is amazing when 2 people can come
Mhm.
together on an innovation in everything about their life, and they
Mhm.
really did restructure entirely,
Mhm.
which is great because marriages take a beating in
Mhm.
retirement. It's a
Yeah.
really hard transition for
Yeah.
marriages, and
Yeah.
so I really like people to be conscientious about any personal, deep personal
Mhm.
relationship as
Yeah.
you transition. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for
Oh,
sharing that.
sure.
All right. So, you have your book. It could be found
Mm.
on Amazon. I will make sure to link that in the show notes. How else can people work with you?
I'm offering a free subscription to a newsletter. They can find a place to sign up on my website.
Perfect.
And we have all three different entry levels. If you want to DIY with a network and a group, we're on Facebook. If you wanted a little bit of support in a group coaching environment, or if you want individual advising, all three are available.
Love it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. This has
Thank
been
you.
so fun and inspiring, and it just gives me a different way of looking at what's coming in the next for the next 30, 40, 50 years of my life. So,
Terrific. And I
love that.
always appreciate feedback. If your audience have any questions, you let me know and I'm happy to send you a little response that you can
Awesome.
give them
I love
feedback.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time. I know that my audience is gonna love this conversation, so
Oh, you're so thoughtful. I look forward to it. All right. Take
aw,
care. Thanks
thank
again.
you. You go have fun.
You
Care.
too. Bye-bye.